center of knowledge, innovation, history, culture, and biodiversity. This is the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. UPLB found its home at the foot of the legendary Mount Makiling in Los Baños, Laguna, a short distance from Laguna de Bay, the country's largest lake. It has its beginnings in 1909 as the UP College of Agriculture, a tent school for a handful of students. A year after, the Forest School, or what was to become the College of Forestry, also set up its home in Los Baños. In 1972, the UP College of Agriculture and the College of Forestry, that had by then become renowned institutions, were granted full autonomy as the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Instruction, research, and extension in agriculture and forestry in the country took root and flourished in UPLB. Through its strength in these two fields, UPLB established niches in various areas: biotechnology, engineering, veterinary medicine, natural resources conservation, environmental science and management, human ecology, food science, economics and management, public affairs, and development communication. It drew its strength in the arts and other fields of science, from harnessing its expertise and human resource in the biological, physical, and social sciences. Today, UPLB degree programs continue to dominate over its counterparts. Over the years, UPLB has developed graduate programs that continue to attract students far and wide, including collaborative programs with international universities in food security, biodiversity conservation, and development. To make graduate programs more accessible to professionals, UPLB offers them off-campus. Recently, UPLB established the UP Professional School for Agriculture and the Environment in Mindanao, the country's food basket, in order to help build the knowledge capital that the country needs to attain food security. Instruction in UPLB is enhanced by a strong and vigorous engagement in research and public service that enables it to produce knowledge and generate technologies and innovations that promote sustainable living, making it a strong force in the war against hunger and poverty in the country. Extension and public service are the mechanisms by which UPLB brings this knowledge and technologies to the people, as well as for it to know what they need and to help shape policies in the country. UPLB's reputation as a graduate and research university was formed through the continuous aspiration for excellence and the mutual reinforcement between instruction, research, and public service and extension. It brings in partnerships with local and international universities and provides mobility to faculty members, researchers and scientists, and students, and enhances their competitiveness. Instruction, research, and extension and public service in UPLB reflect the dynamism, honor, and excellence that its forebears set as a standard for its leaders to aspire for. This and an enabling environment for creativity and innovation among its people make UPLB a globally competitive research and graduate university that contributes to national development. Throughout UPLB's more than 100 years of existence, it has worked in partnership with local and international organizations and institutions in the pursuit of excellence in instruction, research, and public service. Strong partnerships began when the then UP College of Agriculture and the College of Forestry, the first two colleges, established a food security program and became the home of the International Rice Research Institute. It was a partnership with Cornell University in the United States that made an indelible mark in the two colleges' development and history.
The UPCA Cornell contract and the UP Cornell Graduate Education Program strengthened the critical mass of professional staff in UPLB. This graduate program was responsible for producing about 56 PhDs. UP became famous in Southeast Asia. And staff development was so strong until we became UPLB, with many colleges that started as huge departments of the College of Agriculture.
As UPLB nurtured its traditional areas of strength, it unleashed its potentials in allied areas, growth points, and emerging fields, giving way to more partnerships and collaborations.
UPLB envisions itself to be a globally competitive graduate and research university contributing to national development. As the national university whose niche programs are agriculture, forestry, environmental science, and veterinary medicine, UPLB is tasked to capacitate state universities and colleges.
With integration becoming an urgent concern in the higher education arena, UPLB further intensified partnership building to enable it to collaborate in research and instruction, exchange materials, and enhance the mobility of faculty members and students. It now maintains partnerships with a significant number of regional and international educational institutions.
UPLB can provide international linkages through its partners, through collaborations in research and academic programs, through student exchange programs, as well as complementation of its resources, including physical and human resources. We welcome partnerships in our niche programs from universities and institutions in the ASEAN region, as well as other countries around the world.
As the higher education landscape shifts with time, UPLB will keep up by continually developing human resources, revitalizing programs for relevance, and promoting internationalization. In this highly globalized higher education arena, forming and nurturing partnerships for institutional dynamism and development is the way forward.
Please all rise for the opening prayer to be led by the UP Rural High School Glee Club, to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, to be led by the UPLB Choral and Song. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a day of flashbacks, recognitions, and achievements. My name is Ronilo Jose Flores, BS Biology, Class 2009.
And I am Jaya Agnes Buera, BA and MA Communication Arts, classes of 2004 and 2011. Today, we are celebrating the heart, service, and dedication of our university's alumni. They will be recognized for upholding the university's values of honor and excellence in their endeavors. This recognition is especially meaningful. Amid the pandemic, we still rise or ascend to the crisis, take extra precaution, and continue on, as aligned with this year's theme, Sustaining UPLB Alumni Alliance.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to
The
102nd UPLB Loyalty Day Awarding Ceremony. October 10, 1918 marked the first Loyalty Day, when 200 students and 27 faculty members from the then UP College of Agriculture enlisted and volunteered with the Philippine National Guard to fight alongside the Allies during World War I. Immediately after, the war ended and the volunteers were spared from the battlefield. This spirit of volunteerism since then served as an inspiration to the UPLB alumni to gather and congregate and celebrate every October 10.
You're right, Dr. O'Neill. The spirit of volunteerism is still alive and well today. That is why, as early as now, we would like to extend our appreciation to all the volunteers of the working committees headed by our Chancellor, Dr. Fernando C. Sanchez Jr., the UPLB Alumni Association President, Forester Leo R. Balyespin, the Class 70 representative, Dr. Cristino M. Collado, the Director of the Office of the Alumni Relations, Dr. Sue Liza C. Sagigit. We would like to thank the volunteers of the Program Committee headed by Dr. Maria Dalisay Hiron Maligalig, Dr. Eileen Lorena Malayba Mamino, Ms. Virma Rhea Lee, and our Director, Professor Jeremy Ruel de la Cruz. Thank you very much for ensuring the success of this virtual awarding ceremony.
And now to give us the opening remarks, please welcome the President of the UPLB Alumni Association, Forester Leo R. Balyespin.
To Agriculture Secretary William D. Dar, to UP President Danilo Concepcion, to Chancellor Fernando C. Sanchez Jr., to our UPLB officials, guests, fellow alumni, awardees, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasant day to all of you. On behalf of UPLB Alumni Association, I welcome everyone who is joining us today in the 102nd Loyalty Day awarding ceremony. This event has been made special by our nation's current unique circumstances. As some of you may know, this is the first time we are holding this entire Alumni Homecoming and Loyalty Day celebration online. Although we are separated by physical distance, we are still privileged to be together in spirit and through the means of modern technology to celebrate the life, perseverance, and creativity of our alumni. Today, we are honoring these men and women who have demonstrated their loyalty to our alma mater and who have truly lived by the words honor and excellence in how they conducted themselves in their craft and profession. Their dedication and excellence truly set them apart as beacons and leaders in the community and industry and are great example of what we are as UPLB graduate can accomplish when we set out to offer our skills and knowledge for the public good. As we look back on the history carved by our forebears and now recognize the accomplishment of our peers on this occasion, May we glean inspiration from them to become catalysts of change, to find the courage to keep moving forward, and to serve the people as graduates of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Thank you very much for joining us in this program. Keep safe, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Forester Leo Ballasfin, for spearheading this grand event. And now, to deliver a message, let us welcome our Chancellor, Dr. Fernando C. Sanchez Jr.
To our UPLB Alumni Association Presidential Awardee, the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, Dr. William D. Dar. To the UPLB Alumni Association President, Forester Leo Ballasfin. Warm greetings to our alumni, awardees, and to everyone participating in our first historic virtual Loyalty Day recognition and awarding program. Although COVID-19 had upset our Loyalty Day festivities and prevented us from celebrating as we usually do, it is heartening to see that we have found ways to keep the tradition alive. Sustaining UPLB Alumni Alliance is more crucial than it ever has in the face of this crisis. Now, more than ever, we need to strengthen the spirit of mutual support and assistance between UPLB and its alumni. That bond must necessarily be founded on respect and the recognition of the university as an institution dedicated to public good. This way, we can forge our bond in the spirit of public service and share the collective aim of serving the Filipino people. Earlier this year, at the beginning of the pandemic, when UPLB urgently needed resources to provide for the basic needs of UPLB students stranded in Los Baños due to the community quarantine restrictions, our alumni rose to the occasion. You eagerly and generously shared your time as well as your financial and material resources, and this allowed us to take care of our students. In the past few months, much of UPLB's public service has been understandably devoted to addressing new needs that result from the COVID-19 pandemic. Primarily, UPLB has taken the lead in responding to COVID-19 by establishing a much-needed sub-national COVID-19 molecular testing laboratory. As we speak today, our researchers continue to find ways to improve testing kits and to contribute to the development of treatments for COVID-19. Looking forward, UPLB is working on instituting a national zoonosis center that will help the country respond better to the threat of current and emerging diseases. Also, to move forward with our goal in education beyond the university, we have recently submitted to the UP system a proposal to establish the Office of Institutional Development in Higher Education to help strengthen Philippine state colleges and universities who are at the front line of local responses to the pandemic and are in strategic positions to facilitate development in their respective regions. And of course, the major change we experienced recently in the shift to remote learning. While much has been accomplished by our faculty and staff in terms of developing systems and materials to deliver and implement instruction through blended learning modalities, the continuing challenge is in assuring that all students can access necessary resources to pursue their studies. A number of alumni have helped in these initiatives, but the long-term success of these initiatives will still need more help from outside UPLB, most critically from our alumni. As we affirm the relationship between UPLB and alumni today, I cannot stress enough our appreciation for the many ways by which you have already helped the university. The first Loyalty Day was celebrated to recognize the courage and dedication of students who signed up to defend our country in a world war. More than a century after, the Loyalty Day celebration is still largely a tribute to you, our alumni. It is an act of recognition for your generosity and loyalty to UPLB and its mission. And let me emphasize, the university cherishes the generosity of its alumni, a generosity that springs from the spirit of public service and selfless sharing. But the Loyalty Day is also celebrated every year so that we may continue to collectively aspire and maintain UPLB's relevance in the changing times. As we face fresh and more complex challenges of the new normal, I would like to stress the need for mutual assistance and support. I am confident that just as we have done so in the past, we will overcome these challenges given the history of respect and commitment to public service we have consistently shared. On behalf of UPLB, let me commend the UPLB Alumni Association Incorporated and the UPLB Office of Alumni Relations for their tireless work in overcoming the limitations set by the COVID-19 pandemic and in keeping the bond between UPLB and its alumni strong and enduring. On behalf of the UPLB community, I thank all of our alumni. Congratulations to all jubilarians and awardees. Congratulations to all of us. Happy 102nd Loyalty Day. Maraming salamat at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Sanchez, for that very inspiring message.
We shall now proceed to the awarding ceremony, starting with a special award for the Prelude Loyalty Day organizers. Starting with Captain Mauro W. Baradas, Mr. Crisanto S. Gualberto II, Regent Francis C. Laurel,
Citation for the Prelude. In recognition of his dedicated pursuit in unifying the alumni through the yearly hosting of the Prelude to Loyalty Day, this gathering further fostered the strong feeling to camaraderie and sense of belonging that made every attending alumni give a deeper commitment to promote, uphold, and honor their alma mater's ideals that are embodied in the most revered tradition of UP Los Baños spirit.
Every year, during the traditional fellowship and awarding ceremonies, several awards are given to outstanding alumni in recognition of their outstanding contributions and performances.
We will be presenting the Multi-Generation Award. This is awarded to the families of UPLB with at least 3 generations of family members who graduated from UPLB at the time of the award.
The first multi-generation awardee is the Lawas family.
The next multi-generation awardee is the Katahan family.
The next multi-generation awardee is the Robles Sundo family.
The next multi-generation awardee is the Platon family.
The next multi-generation awardee is the Aguero Panopio family.
And the next multi-generation awardee is the Laurel family.
We will now proceed to the awarding of the Nelia T. Gonzalez Alumni Service Award. This award is named after one of the most distinguished UPLB alumni who served the association as president for over 13 years. It is given to 1 or 2 alumni for their exemplary performance in furthering the cause of UPLB alumni. The Nelia T. Gonzalez Service Awardee is Dr. Florendo C. Cabral, B.S. Agriculture, 1955, M.S. Plant Pathology, 1963.
Dr. Florendo C. Cabral, for his strong commitment to the cause of alumni affairs, serving as board member of the UPLB Alumni Association through the years up to present. His indefatigable boldness and determination to undertake some of their class projects to fruition, particularly the Academic Heritage Monument and the benches in the UPLB Alumni Plaza. Cabral belongs to the illustrious Class 55 as they celebrate their 65th anniversary this year. Indeed, he has faithfully served the alumni in various capacities and has shown his unconditional devotion for alumni's projects and noble causes, including the construction of Tahanan ng Alumni.
To present the trophies of the college distinguished alumni awardees, may we call on stage the college deans and the president of the Alumni Association.
For the College of Agriculture and Food Science, Dean Dr. Elpidio M. Agbisit Jr. and CAF's Alumni Association President Captain Mauro W. Baradas will present the awards. Dr. Rodora R. Aldemita, B.S. Agriculture, 1980, M.S. Agronomy, 1988, for international service and cooperation.
Rodora R. Aldemita, B.S. 1980, M.S. 1988. For providing leadership as a director of ISAA Sea Asia Center to raise understanding of agri-biotechnology among all stakeholders and provide enabling capacities for informed regulatory and decision-making processes to move acceptance and adoption of biotech products in the region. Also, as a director of the ISAA Global Knowledge Center on Crop Biotechnology. Also, as a director of the ISAA Global Knowledge Center on Crop Biotechnology, Dr. Aldemita leads the development of biotech-related materials, including the highly authoritative annual report on commercialized biotech or GM crops, coordinates the 15 ISAA network of biotechnology information centers, and assists developing countries in improving regulations of biotech crops. She has partnered with national government bodies and international agencies around the world for the global acceptance of biotech crops. Her accomplishments have been recognized locally and internationally, becoming one of a competent spokesperson on biotech crops.
Mr. Laureano A. Calyao Jr., B.S. Agriculture, 1970, for Agri-Entrepreneurship. Laureano A. Calyao Jr., B.S. 1970, for his significant contributions in converting idle farmlands into innovative agribusiness establishments which provided employment to farmers and their families. The transformation of their family's 11-hectare farm into a rubber, coconut, cacao intercropping served as a demo farm which other farmers from Davao del Norte areas copied and replicated. He was instrumental in changing a 400-hectare low-performing farmland owned by Hikiana Plantation into a highly profitable hybrid coconut cum cattle fattening farm. Because of his intense desire to contribute to the well-being of many rural farmers, that he continues to share his agribusiness and agri-entrepreneurial skills to many rural farmers in the Davao-Cotabato area. Ms. Mirna S. Galang, B.S. Agricultural Economics, 1977, M.S. Animal Science, 1990, for public service and extension in dairy and livestock development. Mirna S. Galang, B.S. 1977, M.S. 1990, for having had distinguished herself in extension, training, technical assistance, and overall support to local dairy development for more than 4 decades. Her activities resulted in the upgrading of technical expertise, development of rural institutions, and increased incomes and empowerment of dairy farmers. She has established her credibility, expertise, and exhibited her deep concern for the welfare of farmers. Her passion for dairy and rural development earned her the respect of dairy farmers of more than 100 dairy cooperatives and associations in all dairy areas in the country.
Dr. Glenn B. Gregorio, B.S. Agriculture 1986, M.S. Plant Breeding 1991, for rice genetics and breeding.
Glenn B. Gregorio, B.S. 1986, M.S. 1991, for his extraordinary scientific achievements in rice molecular biology and its application in rice breeding, with focus on tolerance to abiotic stresses and nutritional value. In his research activities, he has collaborated with scientists not only from the Philippines, but also from countries in Asia, Africa, and the Americas. A prolific scientific writer, his international and local publications are highly cited by scientists worldwide. In addition to his researches, he also assumed executive responsibilities such as program leader, division head, and lately as center director of the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture.
Dr. Eric P. Palakpak, B.S. Agriculture 1988, M.S. Animal Science 1994, for public service and extension in livestock development.
Eric P. Palakpak, B.S. 1988, M.S. 1994, for his exemplary achievements as a dedicated public servant in the agriculture sector, particularly the livestock subsector and the carabao industry, and for his outstanding contributions in the promotion and dissemination of science and technology-based solutions by way of effective knowledge management system and extension modalities, which have benefited thousands of farmers, field technicians, and other carabao industry value chain stakeholders across the country. His excellent and effective leadership transcends disciplinary and organizational boundaries, as evidenced by his engagement as a former president of the Philippine Society of Animal Science and current president of the Philippine Extension and Advisory Services Network, former chairperson of the Philippine Carabao Center Multipurpose Cooperative, and current chairperson of the Muñoz Credit Surety Fund.
Mr. Primitivo Jose A. Santos, B.S. Agriculture 1980, M.S. Horticulture 1985, for public service and extension in crop production and mineral nutrition.
Primitivo Jose A. Santos, B.S. 1980, M.S. 1985, for his tireless efforts in co-developing and promoting the SNAP hydroponics technology, one of the most popular and highly adapted programs of UPLB, through the use of various extension platforms, which created the awareness of soilless production system suited for urban agriculture and other settings with limited space, thus paving the way to the establishment of gardens for personal and business use of a wide range of clientele.
Dr. Julie D. Tan, B.S. Food Technology 1979, M.S. Food Science 1983, for food science research.
Julie D. Tan, B.S. 1979, M.S. 1983,
for her excellence in food product research and development of fruit crops, which addressed food and nutrition security of the country, especially in rural areas. She received various grants and awards from local and international institutions in recognition of her expertise and distinction in food science and root crop-related researches. She has published several scholarly articles in ISI and Scopus Index journals and developed technologies that received patent and utility model approval from local and international patenting agencies. Mr. Arturo N. Tolentino Jr., BS Agriculture 2006 for Rural Development. Arturo N. Tolentino Jr., BS 2006, for his passion and dedication in helping small farmers that paved the way for Art Farm Sustainable Solutions, an agribusiness enterprise he co-founded which focused on developing sustainable production technologies and farming inputs for commercial farms, home gardeners, and anyone interested in plant production. His untiring desire to serve farmer residents in resettlement areas in Calauan, Laguna helped him to forge relationship with private sector to seek employment and enterprise opportunities for relocated families. By pushing for organic agriculture practices in Aviare Farm, he did not only help the farmer residents increase their income, but has also helped maintain a safe and healthy work environment for his constituents. During this time of crisis, he continues to uphold the value and relevance of farming by starting the #BuyAni campaign, where farmers and their produce are tapped for food donor relief efforts, benefiting both the farming community and recipient communities.
For the College of Arts and Sciences, Dean Felino Pilan-Sigan
and Ms. Buenaflor M. Maningas, CAS President of Alumni Association.
The first awardee is Honorable Adel Paul G. Belamide, BA Communication Arts 2009 for Good Governance and Public Service.
Adel Paul Garcia Belamide, CAS Distinguished Alumnus for Good Governance and Public Service. For embodying honor and excellence in local governance that is formed by his solid academic grounding in the humanities and the social sciences, and his years of practical experience. For his practical and sustainable initiatives that made significant impact on the lives of his constituents and the environment, such as various zoning ordinances, tax revenue amendments, setting up of schools and scholarship programs, and his vigorous advocacy of local industries. For his creativity and boldness in blazing new trails through his innovative style of governance, such as conducting Sangguniang Bayan sessions in Filipino and holding them in public places, and posting of financial statements and key projects in public places for greater transparency and enhanced accountability. For his initiative and commitment to promote arts and culture with his efforts to preserve the Nuestra Señora de Candelaria Parish Church, now declared as a national cultural treasure by the National Museum. And finally, for his tireless determination to constantly be of service to his constituents during this current health crisis, as he provides clear and concise daily updates on COVID-19 cases and on various LGU initiatives on his social media platform, showcasing his expertise in communication arts and governance and setting him up as a quintessential millennial leader.
Ms. Lilia T. Habacon, BS Statistics 1978 for Educational Administration and Leadership.
Julia T. Habacon, CAS Distinguished Alumnus for Educational Administration and Leadership, for her significant achievements and exemplary performance as an administrator, leader, and empowered woman committed to public service, science education, and innovation. Under her leadership, the Philippine Science High School system continuously carries the PSHS brand of global excellence and service to the nation as they harness the future scientists, technocrats, and engineers of this country. For initiating breakthrough projects and putting in place administrative protocols for better management and improved efficiency of administrative offices for which she had been tapped to head. Her style of leadership has made offices under her management deliver their duties and services more efficiently by inculcating the spirit of promptness, passion, and responsibility.
Dr. Simbelin T. Culyat, BS Biology 1981, MS Genetics 1988, for Health, Science, and Technology.
Dr. Simbelin T. Culyat, CAS Distinguished Alumnus for Health, Science, and Technology, for her life-changing works and accomplishments spanning 4 decades as a critical research scientist, innovative entrepreneur, and passionate mentor-educator. As a geneticist and molecular biologist, Dr. Culyat elucidated the role of NEL1 signaling protein in tissue growth and maturation of musculoskeletal and cardiovascular systems, consequently invented the 23 NEL1 patents in tissue regeneration issued in the USA, Canada, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Australia, Japan, and Israel. Her indefatigable spirit connected the academe and industry by co-founding NEL1 Therapeutics Incorporated, a biotech company translating NEL1 science into human and veterinary drugs and devices. Her company works currently in developing therapies for lung and heart tissue damage induced by viral infections such as COVID-19 and for the muscle atrophy in cancer. For mastering the art and pedagogy of teaching, being a creative and dedicated professor and guest lecturer at private and public universities, and for supporting the STEM education in public schools and non-profit organizations. Her works and accomplishments are understatements of the university's mandate of shaping minds that shape the nation and the world, imbued with honor and excellence.
For the College of Development Communication, Professor Romel Daya of the CDCAA and Dean Dr. Maria Stella C. Tirol will present the award. Dr. Rotasio S. Gravoso, MS Development Communication, 1991, for Development Communication Education. Dr. Rotasio S. Gravoso, for his dedication and hard work as a development communication educator, researcher, and practitioner who has helped strengthen several academic and research programs in DevCom, various development projects for farmers, and a professional organization of Filipino DevCom educators and practitioners in the Philippines. Now a full professor at the Visayas State University, Dr. Gravoso has led and mentored educators, researchers, and students in various DevCom research and extension projects and activities that have benefited farmers and other marginalized Filipinos in the Visayas and other parts of the country. As a recipient of exemplary VSU Academician and Research Awards, Dr. Gravoso has recently spearheaded the revision of VSU's DevCom programs to make them responsive to the changing needs of society. From 2014 to 2018, he served for 2 terms as president of the Association of Development Communication Educators and Practitioners Philippines and spearheaded 1 international and 3 national conferences of the association. Miss Maria Mutia El Frio, BS Development Communication, 1993, for International Development Communication Practice. Miss Maria Mutia El Frio, for her laudable work as a development communication specialist in international projects that advance the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. As a DevCom practitioner, she has served in the most disadvantaged communities, from working in post-conflict recovery as a UN volunteer of the United Nations Development Program in South Sudan, to helping the most impoverished communities regain their livelihood from demining in Cambodia. She facilitated emergency communications projects with World Vision International to aid displaced communities in Senegal and Mali during a military campaign against terrorist groups. Ms. Frio helped build the capacity of the next generation of development communicators in grassroots organizations, training and mentoring out-of-school youth in the slums of Kenya and local development staff in India who were working in a community-based school for children with severe disabilities. As a writer and an editor for the Food and Agriculture Organization, she is currently part of a team developing a forestry education curriculum for primary students to be piloted in Tanzania and rolled out later in the year in the Philippines.
For the College of Engineering and Agro-Industrial Technology, Engineer Pantaleon Tabanao and Dean Arnold R. Elepaño will present the College Distinguished Awards. Dr. Rustico C. Bautista, BS Agricultural Engineering 1981, MS Agricultural Engineering 1993, for grain teaching and research. Dr. Rustico C. Bautista is a grain quality scientist and technology innovation lead at Rice Tech Incorporated, Alvin, Texas, USA, and an adjunct professor of biological and agricultural engineering at the University of Arkansas. He has made significant contributions in rice processing researches. His extensive works of over 36 years in grain research resulted to his notable inventions, which includes 2 patent awards for Erie twin moldboard plow and conical puddlers, and development of Erie test tube mill, which is being used worldwide in rice research organizations. He has published 2 book chapters on rice grain processing and quality, 57 peer-reviewed publications, and has over 100 presentations in technical meetings and symposia. His leadership in rice grain quality is well recognized by professional societies such as Cereals and Grains Association and the American Society of Agricultural and Biological Engineers, and serves as advisory board of the University of Arkansas Center for Rice Processing. Dr. Joel O. Paz, BS Agricultural Engineering 1985, MS Agricultural Engineering 1989, for Agricultural Engineering and Water Resources. Dr. Joel O. Paz is a professor of agricultural and biological engineering at Mississippi State University. He is a distinguished achiever in teaching, research, and extension in agricultural engineering and water resources. He was a recipient of Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching Award Lower Division, MSU College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, and Teaching Award of Merit from Gamma Sigma Delta Honor Society of Agriculture. His research focuses on water quality and nutrient reduction, water resources, artificial intelligence, big data analysis, crop growth modeling, impacts of climate change and climate variability, and water-energy food nexus. His research program has received over $5.8 million in grants and contracts from USDA, USDOE, NSF,
NASA, NOAA, RMA, and commodity boards, and has published 61 peer-reviewed journal articles, 45 conference proceedings, and 74 abstracts. As part of his extension service, he has published 17 technical reports and 27 extension articles and newsletters, conducted 33 training workshops and in-service trainings, 16 extension seminars, and 12 invited state and regional extension presentations.
Dr. Benigno C. Valdez, BS Sugar Technology, 1979, for cancer research.
Dr. Benigno C. Valdez is a professor at the Department of Stem Cell Transplantation Research Division of Cancer Medicine, the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center, Houston, Texas, USA. MD AAC ranked number 1 in cancer care in U.S. News and World Report's annual Best Hospitals survey, and has been named one of the nation's top 2 cancer hospitals since the survey began in 1990. Dr. Valdez has established an international reputation in cancer research. He has chaired 8 sessions and presented 21 lectures in international conferences. He is an active member of editorial review board of 5 journals and serves as reviewer of 62 journals through the years and principal investigator of at least 7 research projects. Credited to him and his team are 15 patents in various countries, including the USA and European countries. Zydus Worldwide DMCC signed license for a novel solubilization technology for cancer drug busulfan and triazole antifungal agents 2016. 88 peer-reviewed original research articles, 3 invited articles and book chapters, and 19 abstracts since 2014.
For the College of Economics and Management, Dr. Guido Alfredo Delgado and Dean Agham C. Cuevas will present the awards. Mr. Michael R. Cahigas, BS Agribusiness Management, 1988, for Investment Banking and Finance. Michael R. Cahigas, BS in Agribusiness Management, 1988, for his consistent outstanding performance as an investment banker and his significant contributions to the innovative financing of power projects that have especially benefited small distribution utilities and electric cooperatives in remote areas. Dr. Gregmar I. Galinato, BS Economics, 1997, for Environmental and Resource Economics. Gregmar I. Galinato, BS in Economics, 1997, for his contributions to the development of economic research and instruction relating to the analysis and valuation of the environment, energy, and regulation. Dr. Yolanda T. Garcia, MS Agricultural Economics, 1981, PhD Agricultural Economics, 1997, for Agriculture and Fishery Policy Assessment. Yolanda T. Garcia, MS in Agricultural Economics, 1981, PhD in Agricultural Economics, 1997. In recognition of her outstanding contributions to research and development that have contributed to policy interventions towards the growth of the agriculture and fishery sectors in the Philippines. Dr. Nerlita M. Manalili, BS Agricultural Business, 1979, for enterprise planning and development. Nerlita M. Manalili, B.S. in Agricultural Business, 1979, for her exemplary initiatives towards building entrepreneurial capacities in the agriculture sector, and for her contributions to policies and strategies to strengthen small and medium enterprises in the Philippines. Dr. Marisa Maricosa A. Paderon, B.S. Agricultural Economics, 1985, for International Trade Policy. Marisa Maricosa A. Paderon, B.S. in Agricultural Economics, 1985, in recognition of her expertise in international trade policy, competition policy, and EU-ASEAN economic integration, for her instrumental involvement in the Philippines' participation in various economic integration organizations, for her significant contributions in international trade research, and her invaluable roles as a commissioner at the Republic of the Philippines Tariff Commission, a coordinator of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development Virtual Institute, and a former director of the European Studies programs in the Ateneo de Manila University. Mr. Gerald Glenn F. Panganiban, B.S. Agribusiness Management, 2003, for Public Sector Innovation. Gerald Glenn F. Panganiban, B.S. in Agribusiness Management, 2003, for his outstanding contributions to the transformation of public service delivery through e-governance initiatives, lending to efficient and transparent facilitation of agricultural trade.
For the College of Forestry and Natural Resources, Forester Dexter Cabahog Jr. and Dean Willie P. Abasolo will present the College Distinguished Awards. The Young Forester Awardee is Forester Jennifer M. Conda, B.S. Forestry 2002.
Jennifer M. Conda, B.S. Forestry 2002, for her outstanding contributions in field of forest research, resource utilization, biodiversity assessment, systematics and taxonomy, and wood and archaeological artifacts identification, and for her significant contributions in poverty alleviation and livelihood provisions to local communities. Thus, became a recipient of several publications awards, 2019 Research Chair holder, and 2019 Young Scientist Achievement Award in Utilization Research in Forestry and Natural Resources.
The Special Achievement Awardee is Forester Pastor L. Malabrigo Jr., Forest Ranger Certificate 1992, B.S. Forestry 1995, M.S. Forestry 2001.
Forester Pastor L. Malabrigo Jr., in recognition of his exceptional contributions and accomplishments in the field of plant taxonomy and biodiversity conservation, Forester Malabrigo led several initiatives that invigorate awareness on the importance of Philippine native plants and ultimately on conserving some of the most threatened trees in the country. His love for science and research allowed him to produce enormous scientific publications, including 5 books on Philippine native trees. Being one of the most respected authors in this field, his book Shades of Majesty, 88 Philippine Native Trees, won several awards such as the 2013 Best Book in Science and 2014 Gintong Aklat Award in the Science category. As a nationally recognized authority in taxonomy, he has been engaged in programs of the government and private organizations as a resource speaker, advisor, consultant, and trainer. His innumerable contributions have been recognized by international organizations. He is the sole Filipino member of the Global Tree Specialist Group and the Species Survival Commission of the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Not only a forester with integrity, Forester Malabrigo is a professor, writer, mentor, and an inspiration to every Filipino forester who share the same vision in safeguarding Philippine forests and conserving native trees.
The Forestry Research Awardee is Forester Jose Alan A. Castillo, Forest Ranger Certificate 1994, BS Forestry 1997. Dr. Jose Alan Castillo, in recognition of his outstanding accomplishments and valuable contribution in the field of forestry research, particularly on mangrove forest science and management. He is one of the pioneers in the study of carbon accounting and carbon mapping in mangrove forest and the measurement of adaptation of mangrove forest against sea level rise in the country. He has authored over 30 scientific publications and serves as a reviewer for a number of ISI and Scopus Index international journals, among many others. He acts as a member of the editorial board of the Philippine-based Silvatrop Journal and the Singapore-based Advances in Geoscience Journal. He was conferred Scientist 1 by the Scientific Career System of the Philippines. He was also rewarded the 2019 Elvira O. Tan Award for Outstanding Published Paper and the 2019 recipient of the International Publication Award by DOST. In 2014, he was chosen as one of the awardees of the coveted Australia Awards of the Australian government. Dr. Castillo is an active member of the National Research Council of the Philippines, the incumbent Vice President of the Forest and Natural Resources Research of the Philippines, the International Society of Wetland Scientists, and the International Society of Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing. The Enterprise Development Awardee is Forester Leo R. Balyasfin, BS Forestry 1984.
Forester Leo R. Balyasfin, for his outstanding entrepreneurial achievements and exemplary performance in rural development, poverty alleviation, and microfinance, for his dedicated leadership in the CFNR Alumni Association, and the prestige of being the first from CFNR to hold the coveted position as president of the UPLB Alumni Association, for his reliable leadership that earned him the United States House of Representatives Special Congressional Recognition on Environmental Protection and Advocacy, and his valuable contribution in institutionalizing a credit delivery system with Dr. Muhammad Yunus of Bangladesh through the Grameen Bank Replication Project in the Philippines, providing financial services for business development to the rural poor.
The Forest Community Development Awardee is Forester Buenaventura L. Dolom, BS Forestry 1979, MS Forestry 1991.
Buenaventura L. Dolom, for his dedication and exemplary performance to the development management and institutionalization of forestry and environmental policies and projects for communities in the country, with the end objective of improving the quality of life of the marginalized community dwellers. Forester Dolom has relentlessly acted as community organizer and has designed and led hands-on capacity building programs to help planners in the national, provincial, and local governments conduct data collection and analysis, resource mapping, and participatory planning to develop forest land use plans, protected area, river basin, and watershed management plans and master plans. To support these activities, Forester Dolom has prepared a guidebook on forest land use planning that is now being used nationwide. He also led the team that prepared the Philippine Master Plan for Climate-Resilient Forestry Development.
The Environmental Rehabilitation and Program awardee is Forester Jacqueline A. Kaankan, BS Forestry 1981.
Forester Jacqueline Abing Kaangkan, CESO 3, currently serves as the Regional Executive Director of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, NCR. She is a responsible, innovative, and trailblazer that helped DNR achieve new heights in terms of efficient service delivery in faithful adherence to the tenets of good governance. She led the successful implementation of the Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program in the National Capital Region through an enhanced coordination among stakeholders, community engagement, forging partnerships, and strengthened enforcement of environmental laws. She directed a series of cleanup and rehabilitation activities in priority waterways and tributaries, and created a team to conduct ground and drone survey to aid in the recovery of legal easements and rehabilitation of river banks and shorelines. Truly a vanguard among her peers, Red Jack deserves the recognition from her alma mater.
The Forest Policy and Institutional Development awardee is Forester Ernesto S. Giang, BS Forestry 1976.
Dr. Ernesto S. Giang has provided outstanding contributions in institutional development and policy reforms in forestry and biodiversity conservation. He helped conceptualize the national policy on community-based forest management strategy in 1994, which was the basis for EO number 263 issued in 1995 by President Fidel Ramos. And he initiated integrated landscape and value chain-based approach in land use planning and establishment of multiple payment of ecosystem services in forest lands and protected areas as part of DENR's forest land use plans and local government's comprehensive land use plans and national convergence initiatives.
The Forestry Education awardee is Forester Mutya Q. Manalo, BS Forestry 1976, MS Forestry 1984.
Mutya Maria Quintos Manalo, BS Forestry 1976. For her outstanding accomplishments in the field of forestry education as teacher and administrator, attested by being awarded twice as Outstanding Teacher in Biological Sciences by CFNR. Her significant contribution to the revision of BS Forestry curriculum, serving with diligence and dedication as CFNR's College Secretary for almost 13 years, while effectively helping the forestry students through active involvement in the UPLB Committee on Student Financial Assistance and steadfast commitment in the recruitment of the best and the brightest students in science high schools around the country to enroll in forestry course at UPLB.
The Public Service Awardee is Forester Ricardo L. Calderon, Forest Ranger Certificate 1981, BS Forestry 1985, and MS Forestry 1991. Ricardo L. Calderon is the OIC Assistant Secretary for Climate Change and concurrent Director of the Biodiversity Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. A seasoned forester, he became Community Environment and Natural Resources Officer and thereafter Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Officer, Regional Technical Director for Forestry, Regional Executive Director, Director of the Forest Management Bureau, and National Coordinator of the National Greening Program in concurrent capacity, and as OIC Assistant Secretary for Staff Bureaus. He represented the Philippines in various regional and international bodies like the ASEAN Senior Officials on Forestry, ASEAN Republic of Korea Forestry Cooperation, International Tropical Timber Organization, and United Nations Forum on Forests. He is a graduate of Masters in Forestry, Bachelor of Science in Forestry, and Forest Ranger Certificate, all from UPLB. He placed 5th in the 1985 Foresters Board Licensure Examination and was a recipient of Young Forester Award in 1998 from the UPLB CFAA and UPLB AA. He is a Career Executive Service Officer, Rank 3. The most outstanding alumnus awardee is Dr. Juan M. Pulhin, BS Forestry 1981 and MS Forestry 1987.
Dr. Juan M. Pulhin, in recognition of his exemplary accomplishments in instruction, research, extension, and development in the fields of social forestry, forest governance, and climate change. He currently holds the highest faculty rank of Professor 12, as well as the highest honorific UP rank of Scientist 3. He also served as Dean of the College of Forestry and Natural Resources, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. He is a world-renowned scientist and professor exemplified by the number of books and scientific journal articles that he authored, including online courses taken by both local and international students. He is also a 4-time visiting professor at the University of Tokyo, adjunct fellow of the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, and invited expert of the Asia-Pacific Network for Global Change Research. Nationally, his work on social forestry, community-based natural resources management, climate change studies, disaster risk management, and forest policies has immensely contributed to national development, serving as crucial reference in the crafting of a number of key national policies in forestry and allied fields. He is a multi-awarded professor who has received numerous awards both locally and internationally. But what separates him from other scientists is being a co-recipient of the very prestigious 2007 Nobel Peace Prize Award for his contribution to the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Adding to his illustrious career was his conferment as academician by the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines, earning him exclusive membership to this elite group of scientists.
For the College of Human Ecology, Dr. Raden Piadoso, Dean of the College of Human Ecology, and Mr. Flora Francisco, CHE Alumni President, will present the awards. Dr. Leslie V. Advincula Lopez, BS Human Ecology 1987, for outstanding performance, education, research, and extension.
Leslie V. Advincula Lopez. Dr. Leslie V. Advincula Lopez is a research associate at the Institute of Philippine Culture, Ateneo de Manila University since 2008. Her researches focus on a wide array of topics including population displacement, social change, human rights, teachers' well-being, public health, and the like. Some of her works were published in various scientific journals and were conducted with different populations all over the country. She was a recipient of the ASEAN Fulbright Research Fellowship in 2015 to 2016. She was awarded the Outstanding Book Award by the National Academy of Science and Technology in 2001 and 2013 for her research on human rights and urbanization, respectively. She also served as consultant to international organizations such as the UN Democracy Fund, Habitat for Humanity, Asian Development Bank, and others.
Mr. Alexi R. Kahilig, BS Human Ecology 1994 for Organizational Development and Capacity Building for Social Development.
Alexi Rola Kahilig. In recognition of his contributions in organizational development and capacity building for social development, Alexi Rola Kahilig brings the UP spirit of honor and excellence to the private sector. He has been incorporating the human ecological perspective in his body of work and profession that spans sales, field marketing, business, community development, research, training management, and leadership. He leverages on his social technology training to promote people-centered development, from spearheading corporate initiatives for farmers to crafting holistic training programs for business leaders and professionals. He blazes the trail by carrying the hallmark of service embodied in the oblation in promoting the development for people, of the people, and by the people in the corporate world.
Ms. Thea A. Bohol, BS Human Ecology 2004 for Gender Equality Among the Vulnerable Sectors.
Thea Arcelia Bohol, in recognition of her utmost service and passion as gender and social inclusion expert, developing and facilitating a more inclusive environment for women, persons with disability, LGBTQIA, and rural women confronted with climate change challenges. Her work as an advocate and specialist serving in various United Nations agencies, international aid agencies, national, local government, and nonprofit institutions contributed to frameworks and policies in gender mainstreaming. Her expertise covers areas such as sexual and reproductive health, gender-based violence prevention and response, and climate change adaptation planning, not only at the local and national levels, but in the whole of the Asia-Pacific region. Her contributions led positive developments to small and medium enterprises, energy and agriculture sectors, and better maternal health.
Mr. Ariestelo A. Asilo, BS Nutrition 2007 for Nutrition Entrepreneurship and Community Nutrition.
In recognition of his total commitment in championing community nutrition development through his brilliant leadership during disaster relief operations and rehabilitation programs in the province of Batangas. He organized a systematic relief operation and led Human Milk Drive, which also raised awareness on the benefits of breastfeeding. He also led the establishment of Circa 1740, a coffee company to promote agriculture, boost the coffee industry, and provide livelihood in the province. For the College of Public Affairs and Development, the CPAF Alumni Association President Mr. Mark Paulo Velasco and Dean Rolando T. Bello will present the awards. Dr. Celi S. Binoya, PhD Extension Education 1993, for Education, Research and Extension.
Dr. Celi S. Binoya, in recognition of her prominent and remarkable contribution to the field of extension education as an educator, researcher, and extension provider. Her more than 3 decades of service has left an indelible mark in the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture and to the province of Camarines Sur and its environs as Dean, Director, Chair, and Program Coordinator of its various postgraduate and undergraduate academic programs. This is on top of her project engagements both in the local and international levels that have reached out to myriad of stakeholders and trainees. Her achievements are truly worthy of emulation.
Honorable Gabriel H. Bordado Jr., Master in Management, Major in Development, 2013, for good governance and public service.
Honorable Congressman Gabriel H. Bordado, in recognition of his enduring contribution to the people of Camarines Sur as an assiduous public servant, both as a local executive and a district representative who exemplify the core values of good governance and good citizenship. As a graduate of the Development Management and Governance program, he embodied its principles of being an effective and transformational leader who constantly found ways and sought innovative solutions to the problems of sustainable and equitable development. He is an epitome of an alumnus of the College of Public Affairs and Development, as someone who made a difference in the communities and the lives of people whom he serves.
Mr. Bon Ian D. De La Roca, Master in Public Affairs 2007, for Agri-Entrepreneurship and Co-op Management.
Mr. Bon Ian D. De La Roca, in recognition of his tireless and invaluable efforts in providing leadership and advocacy for the cooperative movement as an executive of a leading primary cooperative, as a trailblazer in the Cooperative Federation and a private sector representative in a regional cooperative council. As a product of the Masters in Public Affairs program, he typifies the sterling qualities of its graduates in the service of our overseas Filipino workers, local government units, and agricultural producers through policy advocacy, design of social enterprises, and advancing the interests and development of the cooperative and agricultural sectors.
Mr. Tuntun Naing, Master in Public Affairs 2013, for Community Empowerment.
Mr. Tuntung Naing, for his pioneering efforts in propagating the essence of democracy and justice, particularly at the grassroots level in rural communities in Myanmar. He founded the Tazin Justice Initiative as a non-profit legal organization dedicated to the observance of human rights and the reduction of rampant illegal detention in the Arakan state. He had volunteered his training expertise to the Bada Institute, which is a civil organization focusing on training promising youth to enhance their potentials as political leaders. He is credited for accessing international aids organizations such as Oxfam International and the British Council. As a result, programs were initiated to uplift rural development and expand policy-making capabilities. Over the years, he has been championing the inclusion of the ethnic youth in the national agenda for social, political, and economic development.
For the College of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Jessie Acorda, the Dean, and Dr. Renato Huelgas, the President of the College Alumni Association, will present the awards. Dr. Rosette Angeli R. Arca, BS Agriculture 1985, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine 1989 for Public Service and Extension in Veterinary Medicine and Public Health.
Rosette Angeli R. Arca, for her tireless efforts in advancing veterinary profession and practice by being a board member of PVMA Council on Biologics and Therapeutics. She was an active member of the African Swine Fever Crisis Management Team, National Codex Committee, Technical Committee, Technical Working Group of National Avian Influenza Task Force, and Technical Working Group of Poultry Export Board. Her contribution in drafting guidelines and policies pertaining to emerging diseases in the country helps the country to face the challenge and continue its efforts in pursuing food sustainability.
Dr. Andrew Rovi M. Buencamino, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine 1992 for Public Service and Equine Practice.
Andrew Rovi Mangubat Buencamino, for his passion in serving the community as public servant for 10 years of Dasmariñas City, Cavite, and Metro Manila. He served as veterinarian of Manila Zoological and Botanical Garden. His passion for horses continue as he leads the Philippine Racing Commission, committee member on the revival of the equine drug testing, and committee chairman on the curriculum for trainers and jockeys. For the School of Environmental Science and Management, SESAM Alumni Association President Dr. Rico Angcog and Dean Decibel Eslava will present the awards. Dr. Yulito V. Casas Jr., PhD Environmental Science 2005, for Environmental Science Education.
Dr. Yulito V. Casas Jr., PhD in Environmental Science 2005, Outstanding SESAM Alumnus for Environmental Science Education. In due recognition for his contribution in the field of environmental science education in the Philippines. Being a professor at the University of the Philippines Visayas Tacloban College, Dr. Casas has provided academic leadership in teaching the value of biodiversity conservation and resilience that helps promote the formulation of critical habitat, river buffer, and natural park management styles, as well as climate proofing of the mangrove ecosystems in the eastern Visayas region of the Philippines. Dr. Casas was instrumental in the adoption and implementation of Master of Science in Environmental Science program of the UPLB School of Environmental Science and Management in UPV Tacloban College.
Dr. Alan L. Poquita, MS Environmental Science 2000 and PhD Environmental Science 2004 for government service. Dr. Alan L. Poquita, in due recognition for his contributions in the field of government service, particularly in the promotion of sustainable fisheries management. As the Regional Director of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Management Region 7, Dr. Poquita has continued to champion the application of environmental science concepts in advancing major programs and projects that promote integrated aquaculture systems and capture fisheries production through the distribution of environment-friendly fishing gears, enhancement of inland waters, such as lakes and other water systems, by stocking herbivorous fishes, and in the enforcement of fisheries law. Dr. Victorio B. Molina, PhD Environmental Science 2011, for Public and Environmental Health Research. Dr. Victorio B. Molina, in due recognition for his contributions in the field of public and environmental health. As full professor of the College of Public Health at the University of the Philippines, Manila, Dr. Molina is instrumental in advancing the applications and interlinkages of the fields of environmental science with public health, civil engineering, environmental and sanitary engineering, and public health, both in theory and practice.
And now let us hear another musical performance from the UP Rural High School Glee Club.
Sibot sa panghigaron, pasayan ng mga sundot, sikop-sikop sa kapisik, mga ulang katalaresik. Panakla, dagdagla, panakla sa mga bakla, panakla, dagdagla, panakla sa mga bakla. Panakla sa mga bakla, panakla sa mga bakla. Sino na'y nagapagkaykay, wala'y isda, isampot sa ganay, nakabot niyang masipag, kay sumagit sa talibusok. Sino na'y nagapagkaykay, panagoy na sampot sa balay, manawang kuha mo isda. Subok ay parang isasad ng kabalan sa igasang ay ulas na pagtigas, galit na mga panulos, ikaiso ng mga uson, kakaman mga bagoon, anima mo magkapay-kapay, nagasunod mga kalampay. Hanggat sa mga estapa, nagaling sa mga tamay, na hinay magputwang, habang siguro ang kuha. Hanggat sa mga estapa, nagaling sa mga tamay, na hinay magputwang, habang siguro ang kuha. Sino na'y nagapagkaykay, wala'y isda, isampot sa balay, nakabot niyang masipag, kay sumagit sa talibusok. Sino na'y nagapagkaykay, panagoy na sampot sa balay, manamong kuha nga isda. Pasalubong kay balangkap, salubong kay balangkap, salubong kay balangkap.
Thank you, UP Rural High School Glee Club, for that wonderful showcase of talent.
The next award is the Outstanding UPLB Alumni Awards. This award was conceived in 2003 and is given to deserving alumni of UPLB who have made significant contributions in the past 5 years to address contemporary issues such as poverty, alleviation, environment, good governance, ecological conservation, community development, and nation building.
For the College of Agriculture and Food Science, Dean Dr. Elpidio M. Agbisit Jr. and CAF's Alumni Association President Captain Mauro W. Baradas will present the awards. Mr. Fabian G. Espiritu, B.S. Agriculture, 1959.
Mr. Fabian G. Espiritu, B.S. Agriculture, 1959. For his outstanding accomplishments as President and CEO of FarmTech Foods, a family-owned food processing business. With his professional approach, he was able to link the various stakeholders in his supply chain and produce quality dehydrated and powdered food ingredients sold locally and abroad. He continues to improve his business and partner with government agencies such as the Department of Science and Technology, the Department of Trade and Industry, and many others. His achievements led to awards and recognitions from several government agencies and non-government organizations.
Dr. Manuel L. Logroño, MS Agronomy, 1984. Manuel L. Logroño, for his outstanding achievements in leading the multi-billion-dollar product development programs of 3 highly regarded global agribusiness corporations that developed outstanding corn and rice hybrids. These seeds products, together with other new production technologies, have been benefiting millions of farmers in the Asia-Pacific region, including the Philippines, by increasing farm productivity, profitability, and sustainability. He also had an important role in the introduction and eventual commercialization of genetically modified corn hybrids in the Philippines. Through the years, Dr. Logroño has led a global team of scientists and operations staff across several countries responsible for research and development of field crops at Syngenta.
For the College of Arts and Sciences, Dean Felino Pilansigan,
And Ms. Buenaflor M. Maningas, CAS President of Alumni Association.
the Outstanding UPLB Alumni Awardee for the College of Arts and Sciences is Ambassador Bernardita L. Catalia, BA Communication Arts, 1979. This posthumous award will be received by her family.
Ambassador Bernardita L. Catalia, 2020 UPLB AA Outstanding Alumnus for Foreign Service and Diplomatic Relations, a posthumous award. For her distinguished and long service as career diplomat that brought her to various posts in Malaysia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Lebanon. For embodying the spirit of service as she actively engaged in the affairs of overseas Filipino workers and sought to improve their job contracts and working conditions. For supporting the call of progressive groups for amendments in the contracts of Filipino domestic helpers in Hong Kong during her stint there as Consul General. For introducing innovations that reduced bureaucratic red tape at the Department of Foreign Affairs when she served as Passport Director from 2002 to 2005. For spearheading and overseeing the difficult task of voluntary mass repatriation of OFWs during the armed conflict in Lebanon, and for modeling the ideal diplomat in her pursuit of goodwill, her excellent communication and people skills, and genuine concern for peace and justice.
For the College of Engineering and Agro-Industrial Technology, Dean Dr. Arnold R. Elepaño Jr. and SEAT AA President Engineer Pantaleon Tabanaw will present the awards. The Outstanding UPLB Alumni Awardee is Engineer Romeo Capuno Jr., BS Chemical Engineering, 1995. Engineer Romeo E. Capuno Jr. Engineer Romeo E. Capuno Jr. is a licensed professional engineer and a motivated and goal-oriented global technical leader with over 20 years of total experience in manufacturing at a Fortune 500 company, consulting at a top 500 design firm, and academia at top technical universities. He is a strategist and visionary leader at the Coca-Cola Company who effectively assures continuous supply, improved profitability, and end-to-end quality for McDonald's restaurants on over 120 countries across the globe. He was recipient of various academic and professional awards including the 2018 SEAT Distinguished Alumnus and 2018 10 Outstanding Overseas Filipino Workers and the Outstanding Young Scientist in 1996.
For the College of Forestry and Natural Resources, Dean Willie Abasolo and Forester Cabahug Jr. will present the awards. The Outstanding UPLB Alumni Awardee is Dr. Juan M. Pulhin, BS Forestry 1981, MS Forestry 1987.
Dr. Juan M. Pulhin, in recognition of his exemplary accomplishment in instruction, research, extension, and development in the field of forestry and forest governance. He is currently holding the highest faculty rank of Professor 12, as well as the highest honorific UP rank of Scientist 3. He also served as Dean of the College of Forestry and Natural Resources, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. He is a world-renowned scientist and professor, exemplified by the number of books and scientific journals articles that he authored, including an online course taken by both local and international students. Nationally, his work on social forestry, community-based natural resources management, climate change studies, disaster risk management, and forest policies has immensely contributed to national development of the country, serving as crucial reference in the crafting of a number of key national policies in forestry and allied fields. He is a multi-awarded professor who has received a number of awards both locally and internationally. But what separates him from other scientists was when he received the very prestigious Nobel Peace Prize Award in 2007 for his contribution to the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Adding to his illustrious career was his conferment as academician by the National Academy of Science and Technology, earning him exclusive membership to this elite group of scientists.
For the College of Economics and Management, SEM-AA President Dr. Guido Alfredo Delgado and Dean Agham C. Cuevas will present the awards. The Outstanding UPLB Alumni Awardee is Honorable Isidro T. Ungab, BS Agricultural Economics, 1983.
Isidro T. Ungab, for his dedicated and exemplary service in Philippine public sector as representative of 3rd District, Davao City during the 14th to 16th and 18th Congress from 2007 to present, and for his outstanding performance in the House of Representatives as Chairman, Committee on Appropriations from July 2013 to June 2016, and from July 2019 to March 2020. Chairman, Committee on Ways and Means from January 2012 to June 30, 2013. His sterling leadership and meritorious legislative accomplishments led to the approval of General Appropriations Act for fiscal years 2014 to 2016 and 2020, and notably the landmark passage of Republic Act No. 10351, an act restructuring the excise tax on alcohol and tobacco products, commonly known as the Sin Tax Law. Its approval was a historic victory for the Philippine health and revenue reform. The law was designed to respond not only to increase government revenue, but also it was passed as a significant step toward a country's resolve for social development and to improve Filipino quality of life, especially the health benefits that it aims to deliver.
Mr. Roel Z. Castro, B.S. Agricultural Business, 1988.
Mr. Roel Z. Castro, Corporate Governance, for his dedicated and exemplary service in the Philippine public sector in various positions, for his sterling leadership as President and Chief Executive Officer of ABCI, for his unwavering passion as More Power President and Chief Operating Officer, and for his signature affiliative leadership style and passionate service in various companies for the past 20 years, which has earned him recognition as one of Asia's leading CEOs by the CEO magazine.
For the College of Public Affairs and Development, Dean Rolando T. Bello and Mr. Mark Velasco, President of the CIPAF Alumni Association, will present the awards. The outstanding UPLB Alumni awardee is Attorney Romel A. Gecolea, Masters of Public Affairs, major in Local Governance and Development.
Attorney Rommel A. Gecolea, Master in Public Affairs 2013, is the 2020 UPLB Outstanding Alumni Awardee for Outstanding Leadership, Good Governance, and Public Service. In recognition of his outstanding political leadership as Mayor of Cabuyao City that has brought forth significant improvements in the city's standards of governance and delivery of basic services. Mayor Gecolea gave poor but deserving students educational opportunities by providing scholarships. He improved the city's finances through innovative and equitable taxation system that motivated the business community to invest more. The city's health delivery system has vastly improved under his stewardship. By providing the right resources and providing trainings, he elevated the level of preparedness of the city's various barangays for effective disaster management and risk mitigation. Mayor Gecolea has effectively created a leadership template for local governance by setting moral and ethical standards that he succeeded in imbuing his fellow officials and subordinates with.
And now, we will be awarding the Outstanding Golden Jubilarian Award.
The first Outstanding Golden Jubilarian awardee is Captain Mauro W. Baradas, BS Agriculture 1970.
Dr. Mauro W. Baradas, Golden Jubilarian. In recognition of his immense contribution as a pilot that pioneered cloud seeding operations in large agricultural plantations and in upland areas dependent on rainfalls to sustain farming and crop planting. He later diversified his aviation operations to include aerial photography, skydiving, cargo and passenger runs, tours, and sightseeing, thus benefiting a wider spectrum of society. Captain Baradas also entered public service, first as councilor and later as vice mayor in his native Tanawan City. He parlayed his political skills when he tandemed with then Quezon City Vice Mayor Tito Soto to solidify the country's vice mayors into a solid political organization. As a UPLB alumnus, Captain Baradas will be long remembered for his untiring efforts to unite his fellow alumni in embracing the UP Los Baños spirit. He is the point man in the much-awaited prelude that annually heralds the Loyalty Day celebration.
Dr. Cristino M. Collado, B.S. Agriculture, 1970.
Dr. Cristino M. Collado, Golden Jubilarian. In recognition of his outstanding performance as Undersecretary in the Department of Agriculture, during which he orchestrated a variety of programs that resulted in better outlook for food security. Dr. Collado is also recognized for his immense contribution in developing the poultry and livestock industry in China, Southeast Asia, and the Asian subcontinent. As the Regional Technical Director of the U.S. Soybean Export Council, he extensively conducted training programs on feed manufacturing and animal nutrition. As the first Filipino to obtain PhD in agriculture from a Japanese university, Dr. Collado was instrumental in promoting Japanese higher education to talented Filipinos. For his significant contribution in promoting international educational exchange, he was bestowed the prestigious 2018 Nagoya University Outstanding Alumnus Award by his alma mater.
Dr. Ida F. Dalmasio, B.S. Agriculture, 1970. M.S. Plant Pathology, 1972.
Dr. Ida Dalmasio, for her dedicated and meritorious government service, especially to the university for almost 45 years in various capacities, as teacher of microbiology courses, as researcher, and as administrator. She co-authored laboratory manuals and served as advisor to undergraduate and graduate students, published articles in referee journals, written chapters in a book, handbook, position papers, and concept papers, and delivered numerous lectures, oral and poster papers, both in national and international conferences. She became a UP Faculty Regent, Director of UPLB Biotech, Executive Director of the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council of Advanced Science and Technology Research and Development, where she represented the Philippines in an APEC working group and in an ASEAN subcommittee on science and technology. She has been recognized as UPLB Distinguished Teacher, Outstanding Young Scientist by the National Academy of Science and Technology, DOST, Outstanding Microbiologist by the Philippine Society for Microbiology, Outstanding Alumnus in Research Administration by the UPLBCA, and the GY Zara Award in Basic Sciences Research by the Philippine Association for the Advancement of Science. She is currently a Professor Emeritus of UP and still active in the professional community, being a member of several organizations.
Mr. Nilo A. Flor Cruz, B.S. Agricultural Chemistry, 1970.
Dr. Nilo A. Flor Cruz. Right after his graduation from the UP College of Agriculture, Mr. Nilo A. Flor Cruz was employed instructor in the Department of Chemistry and Sugar Technology program. After a year and for the next 40 years, he dedicated his entire professional life navigating the sugar industry both as a chemist and a sugar technologist. Over the years, he climbed up the ladder of professional success. He established his niche in sugar manufacturing and management. As one of the top officials of the Victoria's Milling Company, he was instrumental in turning around the financial and operational viability of the company that had declared bankruptcy and was facing total dissolution. He proved his mettle when he led in the development of a 4-year operational rehabilitation program intended to bring back VMC to financial health and business viability. With his leadership and business acumen, a roadmap to business recovery was crafted. It featured modernization of the factory to sustain high efficiency and reduce the cost of production. He designed strategies to make VMC's sugar pricing to be competitive in the world market. When he retired, he designed strategies to make VMC's sugar pricing to be competitive in the world market. When he retired in 2010, VMC was in the pink of financial health. It was able to serve its outstanding debts despite the yearly payment of $860 million for the principal amount and interests. What's more was that VMC was able to pay its creditors in 15 years instead of 18 years. The VMC rehabilitation model was hailed by the SEC and was declared the most successful. In recognition of his feats, Mr. Flor Cruz was elected president of both the Philippine Sugar Technologists Incorporated and the UPLB AA Negros Occidental Chapter.
Dr. Teresa Habito Stewart Guida, BS Home Technology 1970, MS Development Communication 1979, PhD in Development Communication 1985.
Dr. Teresa Habito Stewart Guida, for her exemplary commitment, dedication, and purposeful advocacy to advance the field of development communication in the United Nations system, resulting in its institutionalization globally in policies, programs, staffing, and budget allocation. For distinguishing herself as an esteemed international development communication professional whose technical expertise in maternal, infant, young child, and adolescent health and nutrition is highly sought after to guide government across Africa and Asia in creating evidence-based communication strategies, guidelines, and training of trainers among UNICEF and other UN staff and government personnel, thus ensuring that the important role of social and behavior change communication is understood and mainstreamed in programs designed to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030.
Regent Francis C. Laurel, BS Agriculture, 1970.
Regent Francis C. Laurel. The accomplishments of Regent Francis C. Laurel eloquently proclaim his impressive qualifications. His pedigree of political leaders and intellectual achievers paved his route to higher levels of academic and business success. He obtained his bachelor's degree in agriculture, magna cum laude from UPLB, and an MBA from Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management. Having held directorships in various prestigious companies and institutions, Regent Laurel is highly lauded for his management expertise and business insights. The Philippine-Japan Society, of which he is the president, has done so much in promoting strong cultural and business linkages between the Filipino and Japanese communities, such that the Emperor of Japan bestowed upon him the highest civilian honor of the Order of the Rising Sun in November 3, 2011. In 1977, he organized YKK Philippines Incorporated to manufacture and market the world-famous YKK zippers in Santo Tomas, Batangas. YKK Philippines became the largest supplier of zippers and fasteners to the garment and bag industry in the Philippines. Today, it is known for its high quality and reliability. Parlaying his business skills further, he made his mark in the automotive industry. The 3 Toyota dealerships that has been put up in Batangas City, in Camarines Sur and in Albay stand testament to his acumen and foresight. As a testimony to his management skills, the Batangas dealership was the recipient of the Presidential Award for Customer Satisfaction by Toyota Motor Philippines for 4 years. Additionally, the Camarines Sur dealership was recognized as the Dealer of the Year in 2018. In 1990, the UPLB College of Economics and Management named him as the most outstanding alumnus in the field of entrepreneurship. The University of the Philippines Alumni Association conferred upon him the Distinguished Alumnus Award in Entrepreneurship and Employment Generation in 2009. The UPLB Alumni Association honored him as its Presidential Awardee in 2017 for his highly remarkable and exemplary achievements and contributions in the field of business management and industrial manufacturing. The bedrock of UP's core values of honor and excellence is the guiding light that allows him to perform his duties as a member of the UP Board of Regents. Through positive motivation and total commitment, he constantly pushes his colleagues to aspire to be the best educational institution in the region.
Dr. Isaias G. Lumanta Jr., BS Agriculture, 1970.
Isaias G. Lumanta Jr., Jubilarian Citation. In recognition of his invaluable contribution to the field of animal nutrition for the feeds and livestock industry in the Philippines, his work on feed resources and raw material management, use of industry byproducts, computer applications in animal nutrition and modeling, feed mill operations, product development and innovations, animal nutrition research, management of direct material costs in feeds, and livestock business is well organized in the country. His appointment in various managerial capacities in businesses engaged in food, feed, livestock, and poultry breeding, animal health, and nutritional products gave him insights in promoting and expanding business. The feeds and livestock industry is grateful for his contribution. While his stay in the industry was a lot longer than his time in the academe, he is greatly gratified that his work as head of Animal Nutrition Division, UPCA, has contributed to education and research.
And now, the most distinguished award, the UPLB Alumni Association Presidential Award, is presented to an alumnus with highly remarkable and exemplary achievements and contributions in his or her respective field. The UPLB Alumni Association presidential awardee is Dr. William D. Dar, PhD Horticulture, 1980.
Secretary William D. Dar, in recognition of his exemplary achievements in the field of agricultural development and management. Twice appointed as Secretary of Agriculture, he has also proved twice that with a strong leadership coupled with new productivity paradigms, the agricultural sector's contribution to the economy could be made phenomenal. This happened in 1999 during his first term, and again in 2020 after steering the Department of Agriculture for only a year. In the Bureau of Agricultural Research, he propagated a culture of scientific research meant to raise the level of technology needed to address on-farm concerns. At Picard, he presided in crafting new approaches to integrate research planning and collaborative delivery of services. At ICRISAT, his outstanding performance was recognized resoundingly when he set a record of being reappointed twice to the position of Director General. Secretary Dar, as a UPLB alumnus, has truly lived up to the standard of excellence of his alma mater.
To share with us his response, let us welcome back our presidential awardee, Dr. William D. Dar.
Forester Leo Balyaspin, President of the UPLB Alumni Association, UPLB Chancellor Fernando Sanchez Jr., the other officials of the UPLB Alumni Association and its membership, the men and women of UPLB, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am truly honored and proud to be chosen as the recipient of this year's UPLB Alumni Association Presidential Award. Please allow me to thank the UPLB Alumni Association for the recognition and former Agriculture Undersecretary Resty Collado for the nomination. This award holds a special meaning for me as it comes from an institution that helped mold me into a public servant that I am today, one who strives to live by the example of excellent, faithful, and honorable servant leadership. To be seen and acknowledged by our alma mater and fellow alumni as a leader who made an impact in the lives of small farmers, fisherfolk, and agripreneurs, both here in the country and other parts of the world, is indeed humbling and at the same time fulfilling. For this, I am eternally grateful. This inspires me to work harder and with greater sense of purpose as we at the Department of Agriculture continue to battle the protracted pandemic and address its impact on our food production and distribution systems. As your servant leader and partner in DA, I cannot overemphasize the need for all of us in the agriculture and rural development sector to unite and keep agriculture going, to provide safe, nutritious, affordable, and accessible food for all Filipinos. We also face the reality that the country's farming and fisheries sector has been in a critical stage even before the pandemic, as shown by its erratic growth in previous decades. There is low farm productivity, lack of value adding, as well as very few alternative sources of income of farm. The Philippine Statistics Authority said the country's rural poverty incidence remains high at 30%. The COVID-19 pandemic was therefore a very unwelcome disruption. On the other hand, I could consider the agricultural sector's 1.6% growth during the second quarter of the year a form of disruption which could be interpreted as game-changing, not least because we made it happen under such labored circumstances. What the agriculture sector needs now is innovation and ingenuity in the break from traditional ways of doing our job. Thus, the order of the day for us at DDA is to adjust our sails. First, in navigating this pandemic, and second, reorienting the sector towards further growth. On both counts, DA's partnership with the business sector will be invaluable in boosting our resiliency to survive this crisis and in testing the soundness of our new thinking for agriculture strategies and the food security development framework. We particularly look at the four policy shifts to highlight during this new normal: production to consumption, interconnection of the food system to other systems and sectors, address hunger and malnutrition, and the policy solutions for rural development vis-a-vis urban agriculture and others. Through all this, we look forward to the greater involvement of UPLB and others in the academic and R&D community deeply in the process of agri-fisheries development, modernization, and resiliency. More than academic excellence, the UPLB has been a wellspring of young leaders as well as seasoned and passionate experts who have proven their commitment to selfless and unconditional service to our countrymen. What we need are individuals who have vision, who must lead in the development of models of inclusive agribusiness anchored on value chain system, development of models to engage more the youth in agriculture and agribusiness. Third one is digitalization of agriculture in the country and development of demand-driven and market-oriented research and extension system. Today, at the Department of Agriculture and during this pandemic, we launched the Plant program, and I hope everyone will be supportive or be a participant to making it possible that we are able to increase food sufficiency levels for most of the commodity industries in agriculture. I am certain UPLB is equal to this challenge and expectations of the Filipino nation. We therefore look forward to a closer and stronger partnerships with UPLB for current and future shared undertakings. Before I close, let me articulate and give you what the Department of Agriculture can allocate for the work that UPLB in the next 3 to 6 months. Number one, we are allocating 50 million pesos for the research work of the National Crop Protection Center for transboundary plant diseases, which would include the fall armyworm, the Fusarium wilt in banana, and many other transboundary plant diseases. 30 million will be given also to the Institute of Plant Breeding. 50% of that will be for vegetable seed production, and the other 50% for crop improvement in vegetables and fruits. Now, the other 20 million is a packing house with storage capacity and to be placed at the UPLB Apex Center with intent that an agri-industrial business corridor or a provincial trading center can be set up for the Laguna farmers to be part of this halfway house facility before, these vegetables and fruits are brought to Metro Manila or other destinations. Now, your Department of Agriculture will always be there to really elevate our partnership, and rest assured that you have us as your partners, particularly for forward-looking or any type of anticipatory research and development projects or activities. With that again, thank you to the UPLB Alumni Association for this distinction of a lifetime. Marami pong salamat. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dar. Congratulations to you and to all of the UPLB Alumni Association's awardees for this year.
We are honored to be inspired by our deserving alumni awardees for their leadership, service, honor, and excellence.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to a close, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to all of you who became part of this momentous celebration.
We truly appreciate you for being part of this very first virtual Loyalty Day awarding ceremony.
Take care and keep safe, everyone. Maraming salamat po.